The last 2 years in the summertime in Europe, these are the German numbers, we had almost no cases. And in the summer of 2022, at the same time in July, we are facing numbers of 95,000 moving average. That is 150 times the level we saw last summer. How is that possible? Why I'm emphasizing it at this point again, because the treating medics and the medical community have to be aware of that. If we go to the next slide, we can see a microscopic picture done by Dr. Carlo Brogna and his team, who discovered this fact. And it shows that this virus can enter, invade, and breed in bacteria. This creating conglomerates of cells that are then becoming zombie cells. It can also go directly and infect our T lymphocytes in an ACE2 independent manner. Show very clearly that you have a direct infection and destruction of many cells in the immune system, not only the T lymphocytes, but also it infects directly monocytes, macrophages, CD4 cells, T helper cells, and many other cells are being affected by COVID conditions or SARS-CoV-2 infection. These are documented reinfections that can be, of course, be attributed not only to the infectivity of that virus, but also to the immunoparalysis and immunodeficiency and antibody evasiveness of that virus. These are the numbers of the German Robert Koch Institute, which is monitoring all infectious diseases. And if you look at the red line, these are normal, non-COVID respiratory infections, and they are being as high as they are usually in the winter, skyrocketing in July, which is very, very unusual. Leaves, of course, the question about herd immunity. Can we train our immune system with a virus that is actually infiltrating, infecting, and destroying our immune system at the same time? So that question needs to be settled. If the S protein and serum and amyloid come together, and if you add neutrophil elastase, then these fibers that are forming are becoming very difficult to disaggregate, and they seem to form, how can you say, base material for all these microthrombi. And so this is an important finding. These clots have been described as rubber-like. They are really have a completely different composition than clots that we have seen before COVID. SARS-CoV-2 can cause severe brain damage, and it's starting to play out. Catecholamine pathway that can cause these kind of conditions, especially in healthy young male adults. Other groups of patients where the T lymphocytes and the natural killer cells are very low, even the count of the almost to the level of patients that have AIDS. It's been reported from other medical circles as well that there's a strong uptick in cancer. And we think that it is a two-component system leading to that. On one hand, you have your immune system damaged and impaired and not able to control cancer cells. And on the other hand, it's been shown that this virus has some cancer-causing properties. This is from a Swedish scientist that's an expert on microscopy analysis of cancer cells. And she's reporting that she's seeing lately in the last 8 months or 10 months are becoming much more aggressive, and they are growing much faster.
Strange why people get reinfected so quickly after their previous infection. Every second infection, the symptoms, as you said, are getting worse. If Omicron is mild in terms of symptoms that people experience, maybe then the problem with Omicron is that it goes straight to the brain.
Having no more lymphocytes to fight, because each time it attacks you, reinfects you, it produces a qualitative and a quantitative reduction in the function of the lymphocytes. You will see a rise in every other viral infection that the T lymphocyte normally protects us from. You will see a fungus on rise, that you are already observing. It happened in India, if you remember. We are now defenseless. We will one beautiful day, we will get a herd immunity. that beautiful day is not coming. Okay, you are having microscopic injury. Okay, at molecular level, it won't show up on MRI or CT scan. What are we doing to prevent or slowing it down? Are we even thinking from development of those amyloid beta, which you see normally in a 75 to 80-year-old guy? Why 40 years old people are developing it?
To alert the medical community, it seems that the race is being won by ALS. And we were actually betting more on Parkinson, but it is now ALS that seems to be the first over the finishing line.
About this S protein is that it has got some sequences, okay, which cannot be digested by normal enzymes in our body. So be it Alzheimer's or Parkinsonism, like, the thing that scares me is the acceleration. You get developments of Alzheimer's or ALS-like thing, okay, within 6 months with COVID, okay, which normally you get in 15 years or 20 years. I suggest, or some other scientists suggest, 5 drugs or herbs or nutraceuticals. Why the clinical trials are not there?
If these are elevated, something is going on. There is no smoke without fire. Then, of course, these clots will keep forming. Please excuse the military language, strategic and tactical responses, because I think that we are in a kind of a war. And so the first priority should be, do not get infected. If our immune system is already a little bit impaired, or even in general, it would be good to have a strong antiviral at hand, especially if you're a long hauler. Some protocols that work on acute COVID as well as on long COVID and help the organism to fight these conditions. On 23rd of June, he was tested positive with a PCR and a CT value of 16, and 4 days later you can see it was negative. So
we are working day and night for you, and then we will come up with something. Okay, so don't lose the hope, keep the faith. Okay, thank you very much.